Ahmed Tinubu has advocated the need for local currency to be allowed to find its level and compete with the rest of the world currencies. President Tinubu said this during his speech at the World Economic Forum in Riyadh on Sunday. The president justified the removal of fuel subsidy, maintaining that it was needed to reset the nation's economy.
Interested in discoveries by themselves and highly ready for technology, good education, committed to growth. We were able to manage that and partition the economic drawback and the fallout of the subsidy removal. The capital formation that is necessary to drive the economy, like agriculture, food security, innovation, technology advancement, must be an inclusive program of the entire world. No one should be left behind. The fear of lack of capital in Africa, stigmatization, and I'm glad the world is recognizing the need that the type of population growth that Africa is experiencing, the diversity of its resources, must be married with its economic opportunity.
Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim criticized Western countries for what he claimed to be a complete abdication of responsibility regarding the issue of Gaza. The Malaysian Prime Minister mentioned that his country has established strong engagement with the United States and Europe, while also maintaining excellent bilateral relations with China, South Korea and Japan.
Governance of fiscal responsibility, at the same time do not lose sight of the key priorities which is relevant in this session, the issue of globalization, of interdependence. We adopt a very fierce foreign policy position to engage and depend on the support, collaboration, investments from the West, United States, Europe, at the same time maintain excellent bilateral relations with China, Korea, Japan.
With the theme Global Collaboration, Growth and Energy for Development, the two-day gathering brought together over 1,000 global leaders from 92 countries. Attendees include heads of state and government, thought leaders from both public and private sectors, as well as representatives from international organizations, academic institutions and non-governmental organizations. President Bola Tinubu says his administration is investing in technology that is tailored towards ensuring transparency and accountability in government and accelerating public sector performance and service delivery to the Nigerian people. Speaking during a meeting with Microsoft founder and philanthropist Bill Gates on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum special meeting in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, President Tinubu said technology is a potent weapon against corruption and financial impropriety in public service, emphasizing his unwavering commitment to delivering reliable technology that will support our national consumer credit system and many other critical new government interventions for all Nigerians. The president says resistance is often expected when efforts are made to strengthen systems and forestall malfeasance. In his remarks, Bill Gates informed the president of one identity technological platform that can integrate variegated data while explaining the centrality of data harmonization to planning, security and tax efficiency. Bill Gates says Nigeria has the capacity to manage technological systems as the nation brims with talented youths. The fuel situation facing motorists in Abuja seems to be easing up, with more petrol stations or trucks captured driving to petrol stations and the metropolis. Lydia Sampson reports that most petrol stations are no longer visibly overwhelmed with queues. Petrol trucks were seen either driving in or loaded with products waiting to offload. Motorists, however, have different opinions and perspectives on the whole situation. While some say the situation is better, others believe not much has changed, alleging that it is simply because it is a weekend.
It's almost not moving.
Maybe, let's say, 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
The queue is not as long as it was yesterday and day for yesterday. So maybe there's some improvement, hopefully.
Today is better, at least the fuel has started coming.
Okay. It's not better because it shouldn't be, this is necessary for a Nigerian citizen. It shouldn't be you on a queue for you to get fuel. It's quite very stressful.
Yesterday was tougher. This morning was tougher too because everybody came out in their numbers. I just see the numbers reducing right now.
It seems like there's improvement in supply, and I believe tomorrow will be better than today.
Emergency rescue teams of the Federal Road Safety Corps endured another over 3 hours of inferno in an effort to rescue road traffic victims at the scene of a fatal crash that claimed 19 lives this Sunday at Okene Bypass on the Okene-Lokoja Highway in Kogi State. A statement by the Corps Public Relations Education Officer Jonas Agu says the FRSC emergency rescue teams deployed to rescue the victims could not achieve desired results as the efforts they put into the rescue operations were unduly hindered by the fire that engulfed the two vehicles. Last week, the attention of the road users was drawn to issues of imbibing moral and ethical rebirth, which has become a major issue in the country. Jonas Agu warned against traffic violations, citing instances where they resulted in avoidable clashes and crashes with fire, leading to wanton loss of precious lives and destruction of property. As a result, he had earlier emphasized the need for maximum penalty for these drivers. Dauda Biu reaffirmed the resolution of the Corps to continue its ongoing prosecution of drivers who, by their actions, cause road traffic crashes in Nigeria, noting that the driver of the truck involved in the Okene crash will not be an exception. According to the reports, the crash, which was caused by route violation, one-way and wrongful overtaking, involved 22 people, all male. Unfortunately, 19 people out of the 22 victims were killed and 1 injured. The remaining 2 victims, who were rescued by FRSC operatives without injuries, survived the crash because they complied with traffic regulations on the compulsory use of seat belts. The corpses of the dead victims, whose lives were claimed by the crash, have been deposited at Okene General Hospital. Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has convicted 2 notorious drug kingpins they have been convicted to life imprisonment following their arrest and prosecution by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports.
For 43-year-old businessman, his journey to a lifetime in jail began when he was first arrested by NDLEA operatives on the 19th March 2022 at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. He was found to have ingested 100 wraps of cocaine weighing 2.243 kilograms, same as the case of another 42-year-old drug dealer who was also convicted on similar offense. Meanwhile, NDLEA officers at the Gate C departure hall of the Lagos airport intercepted a passenger while attempting to export 4,000 pills of tramadol to Malpensa in Spain. The psychoactive substance was found concealed in women's wear and granulated melon, popularly known as egusi. In Bayelsa State, NDLEA operatives on Wednesday, 24th April, arrested a 28-year-old lady for producing and distributing cakes laced with illicit drugs, especially cannabis sativa. At the time of her arrest, substantial number of the drugged cakes weighing 1.5 kilograms were recovered from her. 2 others were arrested for a similar offense. More illicit substances such as cannabis sativa, pentazocine injection were intercepted in Kaduna, Adamawa and Edo states. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has departed Abuja to represent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the crucial International Development Association IDA 21 Heads of State Summit taking place tomorrow in Nairobi, Kenya. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, the high-level gathering hosted by Kenyan President William Ruto will see African leaders unite to call for an ambitious replenishment of the World Bank's International Development Association concessional lending arm. Vice President Shettima is expected to take a lead role in advocating for Nigeria's vision of a transformative IDA 21 financing package to accelerate development across the continent over the 2024-2026 period. He is expected to emphasize that partners like IDA will be critical to realizing Nigeria's economic transformation agenda, with the country's young population requiring substantial investment in sectors like job creation, energy, access, and human capital development. The Nairobi summit follows previous IDA gatherings in Abidjan in 2021 and Dakar in 2022, where African leaders united to call for an ambitious IDA 20 replenishment forum from donors. Let's now take a break. More reports when we come back. Thank you for staying with us. The 10th House of Representatives and its leadership have been commended for their commitment to nation building, especially in pursuing police reforms. The Society for Open Parliament gave the commendation in a statement by its President Johnson Babatunde and Secretary General Patrick Eza. Appraising the House of Reps under Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, the groups described the recent national dialogue on state policing organized by the House as another proof of its commitment to the security of lives and property, as well as the welfare of citizens. The Society for Open Parliament urged the Green Chamber to sustain its engagement of citizens on critical national issues towards promoting socio-economic reforms for the good of the nation. The Arewa Development Initiative ADI says the federal government, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, has shown political will to end insecurity and improve the economy with visible reforms and policies initiated so far. National coordinator of the group, Murtala Garba, says the president's renewed hope agenda is already being felt across the country, influencing the well-being and prosperity of citizens. The group notes that the infrastructure fund of the federal government is a boost in key areas of such as health, healthcare, education, infrastructure, security, and other critical sectors. It expresses optimism that the fund is crucial in addressing the long-neglected infrastructural deficits in the north, while urging Nigerians across the country to keep faith and be patient with the policies of the present administration. Now, in a bid to prepare Nigerian youths for leadership roles, Aminu Kano Center for Democratic Research and Al-Habibiyya Islamic Society have organized a two-day dialogue titled Intergenerational Dialogue on Youth for Leadership Role in Nigeria. The report.
It's about quality. A leader must be modest and decent in his ways and manners, in his dress and speeches.
The dialogue that brings together stakeholders aims to identify solutions to the major challenges the country grapples with over time. It was also a platform to evolve bridging mechanism between generations and harnessing the potentials of future leaders.
The intergenerational dialogue is really a partnership program designed to inculcate values of leadership and governance in our youths.
See, we've been hearing the not too young to run, but we have seen young people running and they are running into crisis. So how do we now curtail such type of running, that they will be running with control, that will be running with sensibility, that will be running with responsibility, and that will be running with focus.
Participants from diverse backgrounds including academia, civil society and religious organizations engaged in discussions with focus on exploring avenues for youth inclusion in leadership positions.
Especially this time around, whereby money play a key or vital role in politics. You must have money to buy electorate. You must have a godfather. So these are the major challenges we youth are facing when we have the willingness to contest in an election.
Youth leadership have learned many things about how we youths can be motivated and to be more strong in the coming future.
Continued dialogue, mentorship and capacity building, participants believe are essential in nurturing a new generation of visionary leaders capable of driving Nigeria towards prosperity and sustainable development.
You're watching the news desk at 11 on NTA News 24. Here is a look at our major stories. President Tinubu says removal of fuel subsidy necessary to reset Nigeria's economy. Fuel queues begin to ease in Abuja metropolis as more petrol trucks offload product. "19 passengers die in a fatal accident along Okene-Lokoja Highway in Kogi State," FRSC says. Now, when the federal government declares a national emergency on food security, it is scaling for new thinking on the way the nation does its agriculture. States like Niger are coming out to buy into the federal call and initiate a major shift that seeks total agric mechanization. Pleasing as this model adopted by Niger State is, it needs to work to inspire other states to follow the course. Hamisu Rogo has a special report.
Mondays in Nigeria are for Federal Executive Council meeting. On the afternoon of this Monday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was on the plane to Mina, Niger State. Certainly an issue of great national importance and dear to his heart must be corns. And so it turns out. When the federal government declares food security in agriculture, it of course is thinking deep on how to feed its over 200 million population. But then of course it also knows that it has to change the thinking, the way it does its agriculture. Obviously, it must have been aware that the way we do our agriculture prior will not be able to sustain our population. So ideas like mechanization and other systems must come up, And it also must improve its relationship and contact with the professional groups and bodies to be able to act on its agriculture so that we can achieve the food security. But then, no idea ever works without a buy-in. So in Niger State, the state government now is coming up with an idea that is, of course, going to translate the vision of food security in the country into an objective reality. On the 13th of July 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declares a national emergency on food security. At the heart of it, a rising cost of food and its impact on Nigeria. It happened that Niger State is the first state to show genuine commitment to drive the food security agenda of the federal government with conviction. The visit of Mr. President to Mina is in fact to commission the most ambitious agri-mechanization project to ever be undertaken by a state. The state will be investing 10 trillion naira over the next 10 years on production, processing and marketing of food products.
It's a departure from textbook agriculture to practical agriculture. What we read and we see happening in other climes. Yes. Today, Niger State is making history because it's a total transformation agenda in the agricultural space from cutlass-based agriculture to entire mechanization.
Niger State is targeting 3 cycles of harvest a year. It is also expecting over 1.5 million farmers to be above poverty line by the first year. Already in Niger State, the mantra is Niger will feed the nation, and they say it with conviction. The presence of modern farming implement assured them, so is the leadership they have.
It is not a child's play that you walk the talk in policy environment in Nigeria. Yes. But today, we've seen a leader who walks the talk.
The question is, what is Niger State doing differently to drive its mechanization, and how can states benefit from it? 1. The mechanization project is not driven by bureaucracy. A limited liability company is charged with the responsibility to run it.
The model we have brought is a very different model that farmer doesn't need to bring out 1 kobo from his pocket to use a tractor. He will pay with his produce. We're not just using tractors, we're even providing inputs for them and seeds for them and even fertilizers for them. You know, all these will quantify to how much we have given a smallholder farmer in 1 hectare or 2 hectares. Then thereafter, when he cultivates his crop, you will offtake some as part of payment of our services he has gotten, then we'll offtake the other ones and he's rich.
Within the mechanization drive of Niger State, it is raising over 50 million seedlings to be made available to farmers. It is also within the ambit of a design to increase the vegetation cover of its state and as part of its green economy initiative. So, when President Tinubu travels back home, he goes back home a happy man. His dream of hunger-free Nigeria getting the right empathy. In Mina, Niger State, Mohammed Hamis Rogo, NTA News.